Hi everybody, I'm Jackson Jones and welcome to another webinar at the Biker Bar. There are a whole lot more webinars to come, so check out the Biker Bar website and subscribe to the monthly newsletter so that you don't miss any live events. With over 50 years of experience working in motor racing, Dan Jacobson has acquired a wealth of experience and knowledge on how to get the media wagons circling around his events. Dan, welcome to the Biker Bar.
Well, welcome, Jackson. I'm glad to be here. I can't wait to get on with this, and welcome everybody that's on the webinar. Thank you very much for being here. I'm excited to be able to share some of this information in a recorded fashion that people can go through and go, hey, that's not a bad idea. And that's the whole idea. Good ideas is what makes events, really good stuff. And, thousands of events that I've been to and worked on and produced and raced at, all, you learn a little bit from each one. And now I'm kind of at the end of my racing career, finally, I think. And I don't know, I always say I'm going to retire, but then it never happens. More on the promotional end of it and the consults to help people put on really good shows is what I'm interested in, because we really love the sport of motorcycle racing and any kind of event. All this stuff really crosses over to other types of events. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Well, that's one thing I've noticed actually from talking to you previously, is that you can apply your knowledge to all kinds of events. It's not just flat track racing. It's really across the board.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it's a little bit of Disneyland. It's a little bit of the amusement park. It's a little bit of the circus. It's all of those good things that come from all of those type of events that we need as motorsports promoters need to plug in. Because having the attention span of that fan in the stand or the guest, I like to call them the guest, because actually as soon as they walk in the door and pay their ticket, they're a guest of mine. And I want them to be treated with like royalty for the time that they're in the stands there. That's another thing too. People get all bogged down with worrying about the back gate, trying to make, so I got 200 riders, and that'll pay. Now, once that happens, I'm clear and I'm free, and I'm not going to lose money as a promoter. What we need to do is look at how we can plug in the front gate to make that the profit, because that's where all your profit is there. That and your concessions and stuff like that. That's where it really works out to be. Now I'm really happy that I did this, and I can't wait to make it better next time. That's how, you keep doing those steps up, because, you can get disappointed on the first one, but I tell you what, if you do everything right and you go and everybody's walking out of there, you need somebody listening to the people when they're walking out of the event at the end of it. And if they're going, oh man, I can't wait till they have another one. Oh, I can't wait to tell all my friends. All of that. Those are the things you want to hear. What you don't want to hear is somebody sitting in the stands going, what are we waiting for now? I just saw those guys race, 2 races ago, and they're back out there again. So yeah, you need to have clean, fresh entertainment. You need to always keep the fans, the guests in the stands entertained. And you will get that result coming out the door of, man, that was a great show. I can't wait for him to do another one. So let's start from the beginning, because actually once you have an event in your head, you got your venue, you got your venue, and you got your date, you got your information. Okay, you're going to do this event on this particular day at this particular place. Then you start writing your press releases, because I'll tell you what, all of the media needs to be your best friend. and you know who they are because they're already doing the media thing. So you get on there with the sports guy or the news guy, the guy that does the special interest stories, any of that, and you hit all of them every single time you do an event, and clear, concise. This is what we're doing. This is the day we're doing it, the time and all that. And we're going to make it extra special for the media. So when you bring your people out, not only will you give me some upfront promotion on the event, but you'll come out and cover the event too, because you did the front end work. So yeah, it's really important that you do that. And that's TV, that's the radio, that's your newspaper, print stuff, or digital nowadays, most of it, but and your social media. So doing all that social media stuff is almost like free. But I'll tell you what, one thing about social media is you have to keep hammering because it's after 24 hours, it's gone. Nobody's got it in front of their face anymore. So it's really important in your media, of course, your regular media press release stuff. That is so important. Get a good list of those people, call them up, try or at least get a communication line open to them. So, who you're talking to and all that is so important. Next thing you want to do, and it really works out great, is that to put on these shows, it takes a lot of people. Big surprise. And a lot of people try to do that on the cheap, or they don't do it well enough, and then they don't have it really covered that well. It's so important because these are all actors in your show, just as much as the racers are too. So everybody, the infield people, the track helpers, the flag people, the announcers, you got to have announcers, not just one. One announcer can't carry a whole grandstand full of people. You need to have more excitement going on. You need to have that cheerleader down on the track level going, yeah, get it up, and you dress them up so that they have a costume. They look like a Disneyland character kind of thing, not necessarily a different animal or anything like that, but I mean, just like red and white striped shirt or something, so that they look like, oh, they must be special. They're part of this deal. Mm-hmm. So they're identified. You don't have to really say anything about it because they're identified already. And that carries over to the grandstand for the concessions, the merchandise, all of that, because there again, you want your guests to feel extra well taken care of. I tell you what, you walk into Disneyland and people are saying, we're so glad you're here. We're so happy you're in our place here. Let us make anything better for you we can. And you carry that right on through to that whole show. So let's get into a little bit about the creating the event part of it, because that's how you produce. I mean, over here in the United States, we're with the AMA motorcycles, their sanctioned events, they have in districts sometimes, I don't know, a huge amount of classes. So it's like can be over 30 different classes. Mm-hmm. Where the optimum time for an event is 2 hours. Yep. That's from the time the fan guest gets in the stand, sits down, it's got their can of beer, and the announcer says, "Let's go racing," and then from that you got 2 hours really to entertain those people, and then let them go, or have them entertain more with the riders, let them come back there, see the bikes, all that kind of stuff. Of course, you want to do all that. But you start your event, if you've got a lot of classes and a lot of riders, you need to start your race in the morning, get it all done. Mm-hmm. Let's use we're going to start the show at 7:00. So by 3:30 or 4:00, you want to be done with all your classes and your miscellaneous qualifying and things like that. And then you pick up your 6, 7, 8, or 9 at the most classes, for your show that starts at 7:00.
Yep.
Some of them will just be main events. Some of them will be semis and mains, that kind of thing. So you certainly want to have your best talented performers or riders out there on the track as much as possible. So, that they're the ones that are going to put on the best show for you, that are going to get those people to go, holy smokes. And the timing of that is so incredibly important, because and everything matters so much. So you want to make sure you have a good track that can hold up. It's almost a kiss of death lately for tracks not being prepared right the first time, and then they got to go fix it. That's just, I don't know. To me, that's really unexcusable. But I've learned how to do dirt for a long time now. I started doing a road grader and making racetracks when I was 16 years old. So I got quite a few years, but that's really important. And sometimes it's very difficult to get there, because we have, on all the outdoor tracks, we have the weather and all that. And so you got to be able to adapt and spin with that as best you can and as quickly as you can. And we certainly don't want to have our talent out there on tracks that aren't safe.
So I guess in that case, if something did come up like that, you'd have a contingency plan, a plan B.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you that's the other great thing about getting all your qualifying done by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that you already know what the track's going to do. It should be real simple by then. So anything that you had to figure out that's changed from your previous thought or your previous track plan is going to be, you already got it figured out, which is really, really great. And because what you want to do is you want to roll. I mean, you want to have one in staging, one on the starting line, and that's this whole scenario all night long. So, I always say, if you're sitting at an event as a guest or a spectator, and you have time to go get a beer or go to the bathroom, it's pretty much, you don't have time to breathe, much less go do anything else. So it's really important that you keep that pace moving along faster than you can possibly do it. And you'll find out that you will be ahead of schedule, and you'll get down to the main event, and then you can stretch it out a little bit. You can stretch it out. You can do a more elaborate entry thing, engines off, helmets off, that kind of thing, and parade your best talent for the big show at the end. And that the fans love that. I mean, that's one of the most important things that we sometimes never do, because they'll run them out there to the starting line with helmets on and engines running, and missed opportunity. I'm sorry, but those fans in the stands need to be able to choose their favorite, he's cute or she's cute or, whatever. I don't know how you pick your fans, but I like the color of his bike. It could be anything. But, that's the great thing about motorsports is that all the entertainers in that and all the racers they're actors. Boy, I'll tell you what, they all want to be noticed, because everybody's got somebody or something that's helping them get to where they're getting. Yeah. And that's, as a promoter, we need to support that. We need to help them share that information, to the public the best we can. And nowadays with the digital and all that, this is a good time to throw in the live streaming concept. And some promoters, they'll say, why in the world would I pay somebody to live stream my event and not pay for it to get in? Why would anybody go pay to get in the stands? There's that argument there. And what we've learned from just the last 3-4 years of live streaming becoming kind of more of a mainstream thing, is that it doesn't stop that live spectator from going to the stands.
Yeah.
And what it does is it opens up a worldwide market of you getting that message out, and people pick it up and they go, man, that was cool. That was a great show, and all that. So you're developing more spectators. You're trying to raise that tide to float all the boats a little bit better.
Yep.
And that's really important stuff, I think, and certainly some events, like, would I do that at an event that I thought I was going to get 100 or less riders at? No, probably not, because it's expensive. It's not free. And I would have to get enough sponsors to jump on board to support that. That's the other thing too, is it seems like a lot of promoters, they don't figure out how to get the sponsors for your events. And I can tell you something that's pretty top secret. and I don't mind sharing it with you, but it came from a very good source of events that draw seasonally, over 100,000 people. And if you're going to do a one and done event, not very interested for your national type sponsors. You might get some local stuff and things like that to help you out. But to do a seasonal, a series, a year after year with some longevity there, that's the key. They're interested in that because they don't have the time to just worry about your little one and done event. What they want to do is they want to do a whole series, and they want to do it for multiple years and go, we'll do 1 year of 10 events, and then we'll reevaluate and either give you more or tell you to buzz off. And
how hard is it then to, if you're at the start of things, you've got a series of 10 events, but you're only at the start, you need to attract sponsors,
Yeah. No, that's the thing. You got to get out ahead of that. I mean, really, long before the press release comes along, almost, that's when you develop the series with your series sponsors way ahead of time. I mean, you actually, like right now, well, actually from June till August, I'll be working on seasonal sponsorships and big event, long, multiple year events. I'll be working on those sponsors. Like, actually, I've already started. So, and usually by the October, November, they're kind of already got it figured out what they're going to do, where their money's going to go. So yeah, you need to be out ahead of that over a year in advance. And then, then you got something to work with. You can go, I got the Motion Pro, I got the S&S, I got the Indian motorcycles, all of that, you got some things that'll really get the media's attention.
Sure.
And that's important. And other venues and stuff like that. Picking a venue. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, that's, you can go into markets and venues that are terrific, that cost a butt ton of money. And you're scared to death because it costs a butt ton of money. So your investment is huge, but the return on that investment, because there's, 250,000 people there, you're drawn from a big herd of people, and that's actually really good. And that's what you can do once you get your program down. Because if you go in there and stink up the house, you're oh no, you don't want to do that. So get your practice down, get your team down, get your race team down for all your little spots, your ticket sellers and people that stand there and tells people, where to, here's where they're selling tickets. This one's opening up over here, this ticket seller, you help people from the time they get out of their car. You actually help them park too. You got to have parking people out there to help them park, so they feel like their well-being has been taken care of right from the first impression. You never leave them with an opportunity for a bad impression. So once all those people get in there and all that, you have really got yourself, somebody that's ripe and ready to go. This is a terrific show. And that's when you can take that show on the road and put it into big market areas and stuff like that. Now that's really important. We were at an event in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, not very long ago, and it's in the place, brand new stadium, brand new. It's beautiful. The Pfizer Stadium there in Milwaukee, where the Milwaukee Bucks play basketball, and so it was an indoor, so we didn't care what the weather was outside. And that's, really great opportunity for everybody. And everybody's working on a track the size of a little bit bigger than a basketball court. and they did that. They put on a show for the fans that were waiting in line before the doors opened for, that 1 hour while the fans were coming in and stuff like that. And they're waiting for the 6 o'clock bell to ring so that they could go in with their tickets. Yep. Yeah. And that was really great. And you can always do that easily with send some of your people out to have a meet and greet with the riders, and you put that in your press release also. So that's a good deal. We're really, you're building them up. You're getting those chances for the new fan or the fans to meet and greet with those riders and the team, their people and all that. It's a super great opportunity for you. And then they're already going, wow, I like that guy, or I like that girl. It's really exciting once they come in. And then it's just bam, bam, bam. The show's going off. Pretty soon it's over and you're going, wow.
And I guess that's the importance of not opening the front gate too early.
Right. And here's the other deal, Jackson, is that because there's going to be a lot of people that'll want to get in there because they can hear it. They can hear stuff going on all day long, and they want to be in there and see it. And they're at noon or 1 o'clock and they're going, well, you give them that option of buying a pit pass or, going to paddock that way, and you can be there all day long. And that helps your back gate even more. So you want to you don't want to say that nothing happens until 7 o'clock. You want to say, we're going to do qualifying, we're going to do this and that, and get everybody staged up, and we're going to have the best of the best ready at 7 o'clock. So when you sit down in your seat, hang on, because you'll be using just the little bit of the seat, little edge of the seat. Yeah, you'll be going, holy moly, is this fun?
And I guess it's about creating that expectation then. If they just want to see the best of the best, they'll get that front gate ticket. But if they want to watch all the qualifying, they know what they're in for. It's not going to be all the bells and whistles and all this kind of stuff, but they're aware of that when they go in the gate. Right. So they're not disappointed, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah, certainly. Because you're going to have people that are going to want to come there for the whole day and all that. And that's like I don't know, a super fan or something. I don't know. Because that's a hard day. I mean, it's a hard day for a rider or team owner or anything like that. I mean, you're there for, 12 hours almost by the time, you rolled in to load into the event, pits or whatever, get all ready to go. And then you have a riders meeting, and then you do the practice sessions and things like that. And then you roll right into the qualifying heat races and things like that to get your fastest guys, the cream rises to the top. And, then what you got. You're going to have your announce people are going to know who's super fast, who's looking really good, all that. And they've been talking to these guys throughout the day. So they've had opportunities to to interact with the different racers and things like that too. So, and typically what they'll do is they'll get some live interviews and do some Facebook lives and things like that with the different riders and stuff, especially if it's somebody really famous or something like that. It happens to be at your show. That's really great, and if if you're like over here with the American Flat Track Association, they're all superstars, they're all badass fast. And it's the real deal with those guys. And you want to make that highway with the amateur level events to get to that AFT kind of level riders. So you're helping those people learn how to be professional athletes. You're learning, how to go fast, how to win races, and how you behave when shit don't go right. Because that's another thing that they all need to learn. There's no misbehaving, especially if it's on TV. You're going to get in a lot of trouble if you misbehave and don't follow the rules, kind of thing. Because there's just so much money involved with that when it gets up to that level. And putting that together and having seen it on national TV, on the networks and stuff like that is it's taken decades almost. We used to do it in the 70s. It would be on Wide World of Sports and things like that. So we would get to see some incredibly good flat track racing on a professional level. Now with the live stream and everything else like that, we can certainly get ourselves into that situation of a heck of a good production. I mean, I've worked with some production teams that, man, they're ready for it. We had somebody to do the interviews and somebody up in the booth talking, and then another guy just talking about the color, bringing up the highlights of what we just saw with some rerun of those events as they were going on, and then also, here's the other great thing about live streaming is you got commercials. Your sponsors love that shit. They love that. They love to see their logo. They love to hear the content of their ad being, bombed in there for that, 1 minute you got between, a race. You got one rolling off the track, you go to a commercial break, and the next one's lined up, ready to go, and the green light comes on, and away they go. And you just keep that pace as fast as you can possibly pull it off. And that's really important. That's, as a promoter and as the leader of your whole team that puts this stuff together, it's so important. One thing we talked about last night, I think it was, or the night before, was what happens when something goes wrong. Let's say somebody goes down hard and they got an ambulance out there, and you're not like zooming in on that. What you want to do is have your optional entertainment ready to go. So whether it's a t-shirt cannon, shooting t-shirts up there, even if you got to do track prep and stuff like that, as long as your track prep people are like ready, they're like that machine is idling, ready to go. They're on the thing. All they got to do is put it in drive and go. Whether it's a water truck, a blade, or anything like that, you got to be able to get out there and make that part of the show, and get it done as expediently as possible. And if it's a sweeper, have 5 of them. Have as many as you can find. Have 2 or 3 at least, so you can do the whole track in 2 laps. If you got to go more than 2 laps to get anything done, you kind of blew it.
Yeah.
Because none of that should ever happen, for track prep. I mean, we've had rain delays before, but we were able to when the rain quit, get the show back going. Nobody left because we kept shit going on the whole time. We kept everybody was entertained. We had live music playing. We had, we did specials with the concession stands. And of course, all the vendors love it because then people will go down there and buy their stuff. So we did, you just got to shift the program, but you got to be ready to do that. I mean, everybody on your team has to know the plan and all the what ifs. I mean, the what ifs are like, God, I think we've all been there and seen that, how that can disrupt the whole thing. I mean, it's so unfortunate not to have that going on because your fans are going to start leaving after 2 hours. No matter how excited they are, how much they like being there. After 2 hours, there's a reason why they don't make movies 4 hours long. And that's particularly it because your attention span is only that good. It's like 2 hours is the magic point. If you can entertain them, send them on their way, and they felt like they got the whole show. Oh, that's you can't do better than that. Yeah.
So by the sounds of it, everyone has to be. I mean, you referred to Disneyland before, and obviously all the staff at Disneyland are all on the same. There's a philosophy around Disneyland, and they're all on the same. They're all on the same track. They all know that it's showtime as soon as they step out of the back room. So then I guess that's the same thing with your events. You've got to your ticket people need to be part of the show as well. Everyone needs to know.
Just like the football team in the locker room, everybody's getting together. They're going through the game plan. Remember this. The most important thing is that smile. Make everybody as happy as you can possibly do that. And we will have a wonderful show here today. Be safe. Watch out. This is a motorsports event, so don't take anything for granted and be as cautious as you need to be around anything that's going really fast. That's really important stuff too. You can never lose sight of that safety thing. So yeah. So whenever there's a problem, whether it's an emergency thing with the ambulance, anything like that, you need to be able to shift gears a little bit and have those plans in place to entertain those people. And I mean, you can only say, well, we're sorry for the delay so many times, because after you said that already, you already kind of admitted the defeat of well, we know what we're waiting for and we don't like it because you just told us not to like it. So be careful how you do that, how you sell that too, because I mean, people will understand if there's somebody getting loaded up in an ambulance that it's going to take a little bit. They're trying to save his life or something right now, or he's broken into pieces and then they're collecting all the pieces so that he can throw it in the back of the ambulance and get on down the road. And we hate to see any of that happen, but motor racing, there's really nothing safe about it. So you can't lose sight of that. That's really important. But at the same time, we can have people, topless girls running through the grandstands. I don't know what you do. You can think of anything, and it's really great. Yeah. I've seen so many different shows and all that. There's a reason why they put them out there with the 10-second board, and then, do that whole deal and stuff, is part of that pageantry and stuff like that. You need the pageantry of all that. I touched briefly on announcers. One announcer is not enough. You need that one down on the ground. You need that one doing the interviews and stuff like that. 3 is even better. That's you got the cheerleader, you got the victory circle person, and you got the color and the regular MC up there. MC kind of keeps things moving along. That's his job. Keep it moving along. Color guy helps fill in the blanks for the people. Never assume anybody, because if you got 100 guys, 100 guests in the stands, that have never seen a race before and got talked into coming here because their buddy has seen one before. Wow, that's the one you got to get, because you want him to leave and bring 10 people with him next time. So you got to never assume that they know anything about it. So that's mostly the MC's job, to fill in those blanks. Like, he's talking to a whole bunch of people that have never seen a motorcycle race before in their life, and never assume that. That's a journalistic thing too, is that never assume that they know anything.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And like, it's like putting the physical address for the venue. Just because you think they all know where XX Stadium is, doesn't mean that they really know where that is. They got to be able to put it in their GPS, their Google map or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to make people feel, I'll say it again, like their well-being has been really, really taken care of well. And that's what your better venues will always do. I was at the grand opening of Roger Penske's Riverside Speedway when they built the new one. And he was on top the grandstands overlooking the parking lot on a walkie-talkie, talking to his people out there parking cars, and the TV, saying, let's drag out the start, because they were still trying to get cars. There were a lot of people trying to get in still. And he was the one that, going, because he could see where the spots were, filling them in there, and let's hold off on the start of the race a little bit. This is a NASCAR race. That's how hands-on you have to be. You can't assume, even if you're the big boss on top of everything, you gotta be the one. You're the one that's responsible for it, because if it goes bad, they're all going to point at you. So you might as well get it done right the first time, best you can. And that's why you have the team huddle with all your people before, and they come out of the locker room ready to go, big smiles on. It's great. It's terrific, and you really see that at your better events, and that's why they do so well. There's a handful of events that I would say are exceptional. And, one of them's the Chili Bowl in Oklahoma. Have you heard of that ever?
I have heard of the Chili Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, and they race all week long. And there's a lot of vendors. There's usually 350 some entries. So they're all inside this building and the big racetrack over there. And they run those races off like that all day long, and do the qualifying all week long. They end up with that big show. By the time they get to Saturday night's big show, people can hardly breathe anymore, because they're just so excited with what they've gone through, and how many people are there, and the big stars that come out there. And it's so incredible. I mean, if you ever want to meet the big stars of motorsports, go there, because they're all there. Yeah.
You've been around this for a long time.
Yeah.
In your experience, as someone if someone's coming to organize an event, can you share with them something that's sort of gone wrong? Something that you've learned, some kind of learning that it's happened at a show or an event, and you've gone, crap, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. Well, the unknown parts are like the weather, if it's an outside event, totally out of control, for how that rolls the thing out. Even if it's inside, I put on an indoor in northern Minnesota, great venue. I thought, oh God, this is going to be so great. This is going to be fun as heck, and it was 30 below and a blizzard out, and the town that we were in, I'm pretty sure, not even one motorcycle racer from that town. So they all had to come from other places to get there. And it was the most miserable weather ever. And of course, the fans we didn't have hardly anybody in the stands. So yeah, that was one of my real early on races. I think I was 17 or 18 years old when I put that one on, and I think I lost $1,500 or something like that. But it was, when you're counting on a front gate to make it work and there's a blizzard, that was probably the biggest one that I was really unhappy with. And the other thing is, so many times you go, I wish I would have had a few more people to help me. So that would be the other thing is that try to get more people involved and buying into your whole thing. And most of the people do it just to be a part of it. I mean, they feel honored that they were asked, or they asked and you said, yeah, absolutely, you'd fit that perfect. We'd be proud to have you on our team. We don't pay anything, but you're going to have more fun than humanly possible. And there's going to be a lot of people that you can wave to up in the grandstands. And you're part of the show. You're one of the entertainers. There's a lot of benefits to jumping in there and going, man, I'd like to be one of those people in the red and white striped shirt and running around with a flag or whatever, be a corner flagman or something like that. I mean, those are probably the easiest jobs to fill. Now the sign in, that takes another army, people to get everybody signed in, run the credit cards, get all the entry fees and get all the wristbands, the people watching the doors. So you don't have just people flooding in. Mm-hmm. You got to have a secure event. And I mean, I've only been to a few races where they had metal detectors, but that does happen. And that, and a lot of times the people that stage in the races, that takes, just to get them staged, you got pre-stage, staging, and then they're on the track. So that's how you keep your show moving along really good. That takes at least 4 or 5 people to get that accomplished, because it seems like racers they have selective hearing or something sometimes, but you help train them because you got those people there, and they'll come find you and they'll go, don't make me do this again. Please be aware of when you're supposed to be out there. We have everything posted, and then they take them and they show them this is where it's posted. So everybody's getting a lot better at that too. And one other thing too that really helps that smooth out a lot is online pre-registering. Getting that done, that helps immensely. And of course, the electronic track timers and things like that you put on your bike, and that really helps a lot, because then there's not that discussion going, well, my heat race was faster than that heat race, I'm pretty sure. Well, we know because it's all electronically timed. There's never that discussion anymore. And so and everybody's getting better at doing all of that. It was crazy the first few races that were, there is no sign up when you get to the racetrack. You got to be pre-signed up online. Otherwise, because to fit the mold of that program in those many hours that you got to pull it off, you can't have 300 riders. Or if you do, you got to have more hours, and you just got to reshuffle that deck a little bit. But that's what we want. We want as many riders to have the experience that they can have. And I'll tell you what, based on my own experience, I've gone to events many times where I didn't make the main event. That's brutal. That's brutal. But you know, if you got 100 guys trying to get into a 12 rider main, sometimes it don't work out.
Yeah.
You know, because that's almost you almost got to win your heat race just to move forward. So it's difficult. It's difficult that way, and you know, and we want to give everybody the best opportunities they can. But the thing is, you know, those times when I didn't make the main, I figured out what I could do to make that better, to be a better performer, better racer, and all that. So that's really important, you know, that, and you give those people the support, you know, and it's really hard while the race is going on and they're loading up their stuff because they're not going to be in the big show. But it also gives you a little bit more elbow room in the pits, because when we started, it's a handlebar to handlebar kind of thing. A lot of venues. I mean, you're full, and that's kind of why you do your pre-registration online, because you know you got room for 250 bikes. That's it. Yeah. I don't got room for 260. I got room for 250, and you can bracket those classes. So you got your you know, all your different classes, and you don't have 101. You got 30 in each one of them or something like that. It fits your gridding plan for the day, and you go from there, and then you get those people qualified. And I'll tell you what, when it comes around to the big show at 7 o'clock, the ones that are in that, holy smokes, boy, they're strutting around going, man, I made the big show. You know, so they, you know, that just ramps up that whole entertainment factor of all that. And it's there again, the announcers can bring that stuff out, and they see the excitement and all that. And also, you know, I just want to, you know, everybody knows what their best classes are. And it's usually the A class, you know, your bigger, your 250 and 450 A class, your hooligan, your twin kind of class. It's important. This is another really important, got to check the box kind of thing. The kids, get the kids involved. The little guys just starting out. It's kind of slow motion racing and all that, but I'll tell you what, the experiences that you're giving them and their families and the fans, because those guys put on a heck of a good show, even though it's not wide open, crazy fast. It's just so cute. And then, of course, the women's classes are, I think, vital to the sport too. And so, you know, like an AMA amateur stuff, we have one or two women's classes, and we have women that cross over and race with the guys all the time. And I'll tell you what, that's important, because right now in like AFT, we've got Shayna Texter. Mm-hmm. I think she's the only one left right now. And that needs to be, that we need some replacements for that level too. And that's a big level. But look at how well Shayna did for years on the small bike, on the 450s. I mean, she was always a big threat on the mile tracks, especially. Yeah. And she was super, super strong on some of the half miles. And it was, you know, she's going to be done racing pretty soon, I think, you know, because they'll probably start making babies or something. I don't know. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but it's kind of the way things go. And you know, I like that she's in the Super Twins class this year and all that. That's super neat. And we'll, you know, it is what it is. But those are important. Keep the kids, the girls, all that in there, and really celebrate those, give them the time, you know. And the kids the little kids are the worst interviews probably ever. They might go, they're looking at their mom or dad and they're going, what am I supposed to say now? How old am I? I don't know. I don't know. It's so much fun. Whether it's the Strider bikes or mini bikes, whatever it is, those things are important. And if you want to do something nutso that just about anybody can, they, like at the Flat Out Friday in Milwaukee, they did the booner bikes, and they're like a lawnmower engine, pull start, mini bike, thing. And they sent all these guys out on the track, and it was crazy land. They did another deal with anything. You could run anything. There was a guy in an outhouse driving an outhouse around the track, another guy with a jet ski, and they had all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And that's part of that circus mentality when you're putting on a show. You want to throw that stuff in there.
So you've mentioned before that you would have everyone's a cast member. So if there's not races going on, something else is happening.
Yep.
Whether they're wearing their red and white striped shirts, so that we know that they're doing this job and that kind of thing. Now, is that only important during the main event from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, or do you carry that on through the day when there's the qualifying and people have come through the back gate?
Yeah, you want to kind of keep practicing that all day long, and they certainly help because, it depends on the track a lot. But like on a cement indoor and stuff like that, where you have people falling down and stuff like that, almost every race somebody falls down. Well, you got a corner flagman putting the yellow flag out. He needs to pay attention to how he's directing the traffic to go. He can't deal with the bike that's down, so somebody else needs to do that. So they're kind of jumping out there helping that. Well, stuff's still going on unless they stop and red flag the race and stop it, and that's only if somebody's got a leg pointed the wrong way or something, that they're really in tough shape or they're not moving, and then you stop the race immediately. But just somebody falling down and they're kind of out of harm's way, you want to keep the action going as much as you can. Red flag is only when it's super important to do that, and that's a lot of times it's a gray area. It's a tough call, but those people can keep pretty darn busy all day long. And, it might be 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6 that are kind of working that corners a little bit, and the starting line, they're helping there. The flagman should have, a great costume on, and he should have somebody, probably 2 or 3 people that help stage the races and all that. And, another thing that can get the guests in the stands grumbling a little bit is if the starter can't control the starts and people are jumping the starts and stuff like that, and there's nobody watching the line. The flagman's doing his thing, he's turning on the light and all that. So between 3 people, they should be able to figure it out. And then while the race is going on, there's somebody that jumps in to help the flagman. So if the leader's coming around, you're giving the white flag to the last guy, he's got a checkered flag getting handed to him right away so he can do that. So you need your helpers, and they got to have that, to know that there are different tasks that they need to be able to perform like that. And that's really important. And every time you get your crew together, your team together, you keep bringing that up. You keep learning it a little bit better. You take notes. As a promoter or somebody that's doing the operations part of watching the race, and they all got heads, you got to be in communication too. I haven't said that yet, but you really need to be headsets. You can talk to anybody. All your track people got to be, listening to what's going on, and that way you can adapt. You can say, corner flagman, come in here and do this, and you can move your people around a lot better that way. And same with talking with the people that are in staging and stuff like that. So yeah, it really gets to be a moving target all day long of different stuff that can happen. And you got your best well laid plan, and when it goes perfect like that, man, do you feel good. The fans love it, and everybody's going, man. Yeah, that's how we can build the sport. That's how we can have a back and a front gate. That's how we build the greatest show on earth. And that's just some of the nuts and bolts it takes to put together. And in the long run, it's certainly a lot of everything. And it's somebody with a vision to get it started, and then you build out from there and get your people, get your team together and all that. And, like they say, build it, they'll come. And that's kind of what we're doing. We want to have more fans to come out and enjoy the sport, because we all know, as racers and enthusiastic as we are about motorcycles and everything else, you got to have a good show to put on for them. And this is how you can do it. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing easy about it. And the good news about it is, boy, I tell you what, when it works, you can make a lot of money. I mean, everybody's really happy at the end of the day, and the parties get really good. Yeah.
All right, Dan, I appreciate that you've taken the time to share your wealth of knowledge. It's always awesome to talk to you. And I can't wait to do it again. But yeah, thanks again for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thanks. I appreciate the time, and we'll think of something else to talk about next time.
Absolutely, mate. Thank you. I'll see you next time.